Hey guys, welcome back to our little shop. Let's keep moving on this 7A project. We do have our base, our cylinder support, and our flywheel. Everything's been primed up, and when I should have sprung and bought the more expensive paint remover that had the reverse option, but I didn't. And some of you guys wanted to see it back to the color it originally was. So I don't know. I didn't like it. And whoever painted that, they did a good job on the paint, but man, paint hides a lot, because that paint had to be almost a 1/16 of an inch thick, because when we got it all stripped off, this was just a super rough casting. So it's probably not going to show up, but I got some leftover on there. Anyhow, but this was just, they used paint as filler. So we went through and used spot putty, glazing putty, and I'd filed this all down and trued it up and cleaned everything up that we could. And then, well, we got filler primer on here, and it's been wet sanded. So our paint job should look nice. We haven't had great weather for painting. It's been cold, and I don't like painting here in the shop. We got gas heat and so on, so it just kind of makes me a little bit iffy. But all right, everything has been ready for paint. And a couple of the comments, you guys said that this was offset, and you're right, it is. It's offset to this way, but remember, it's already wanting to bind this way. So if we flip it around, we're just going to make it worse. So we're probably going to have to adjust this over, and then also put this down. Our main bearings, if you guys can see, I'll try to wipe that off. The wear here on the thrust side, I don't think the bearings were fit properly in the first place. So we'll be getting in there and fitting the bearings so everything wants to ride true, and we don't have issues with binding. And we'll have this engine running the way it's supposed to. So, but we can't have a running engine until we get that cylinder done. So let me pull you guys in a little bit closer. We're going to start tearing this cylinder apart, clean everything up, figure out what's going on with this. I think that drain cock is just loose, but we're going to get into it. All right, let me pull you in. All right, you're a little bit closer. Hopefully you can see better. I was inspecting this, and I really like how they made this gland nut. It's got the holes drilled in it, just like a full-size one. You're not going to have a wrench big enough to fit around this, but you can always find a pipe or a bar to stick in there and adjust that. So I thought that was kind of nice. So let's get our steam chest cover off of here. We'll look at our slide valve and see what kind of shape it's in. I mean, it was a running model, so I don't think it'll be too bad, but let's get it opened up. Okay, we're down to the last nut. Got them all off. Broke this one loose. We're going to open this up together and take a look inside. Hopefully we can get it there. Once again, this is all studded together, so I like it when they use studs on the engines. And yeah, well, we have plenty of lubricant in there. Let's look at our... Well, it looks like that could use some addressing too, just so we can make sure that floats on that shaft. Our steam pressure is what holds this up against our port faces here, and if it's tight, it might run, but yeah, it's not the way it's supposed to be. So let's get this off of here. Hopefully it'll come loose even like the other one did. Okay, well, see if we can slide an X-Acto knife in there and help break that loose a little bit. Seems like it really wants to stay on there. Alright, I'll get that apart. I'll get it broke loose and we'll open it up together. Well, I got it to break free. I just took a little screwdriver here and stuck it between here and just pried on it, and our gasket left loose. So let's see if we have any. Oh, it does have some float in it. I don't know if you guys will be able to see it or not, but I can feel it has the ability to float. So yeah, okay. Well, we'll get all this cleaned up and we'll inspect our surface here. I don't see any big gouges. I don't see any reason. We might run some 1200 grit wet and dry sandpaper on that and on our face here too, just to make sure that we don't have any issues. So, all right, well, I don't see anything alarming. Let's get our stud nuts off of here, pull our bottom cover off. You know, I don't know, you guys have commented that, oh, you like the shorter videos, no, you like the longer videos, and guys, I really don't know what to do on that. I don't mind being out here in the shop, but if I make a longer video, I might only get one done a week, and I don't know if that's good enough for you guys, but I don't know, a lot of you guys watch, you know, these on, you know, lunch break, or, you know, first break, second break at work, whatever. And if I make a 45-minute long video, or even a half-hour long video, you sure as hell don't want to spend your whole break sitting there watching me, do you? But all right, well, we got our nuts off of there. Everything seems to be sealed very well. Get that X-Acto knife just to crack that loose. Look at that, guys. Just the way it came out. Alright, we got looks like cast iron rings, but our end gaps are lined up. That's not good. So we can make sure that we turn them at least a little bit, but we don't want them to, you know, foul with our, you guys, dang it, see that port face right there? We don't want an end gap near that. It shouldn't get down that far, but just to be, you know, a little bit more safe than sorry. So, and we do have an extreme buildup of goo and schmoo in the bottom end. So we'll set him out of the way. It's a good idea to have these freshly painted parts right by everything that's oily. You know, you want your paint to adhere well. So let me let's get our cladding off of here next. So before we get our cladding loose, we got to take our drain cocks out. So we'll see how they're, yeah. We're going to look at this one here, and I think that's what the problem is, but we'll open it up and check. Set him out of the way and see how it's loose. It just wants to, but we do have quite a bit of play back and forth. Let's get this nut off of here. I'm sure you guys have seen these, know how they operate and what causes them to seal up, but if you haven't, find out right here. So this is cut on a taper, where this side is bigger than this side, and they only fit one direction. So if you have it the right direction, that taper seats just like a Morse taper on a tailstock of a lathe. And then we've got our hole through the center. So I think that was the only issue we had with that, is it wasn't adjusted properly. So, and this washer here has a square cut in it. I won't be able to see it, but it has a square cut in it, so it doesn't it fits, well, one of 4 directions, but you have to have that right, so that way your washer doesn't back your nut off. So yeah, just by adjusting it. So All right, that's good. Let's get our other drain cock out of here. Then we'll get our cladding bands off. We'll start pulling this cladding off. We'll get the top of our cylinder head off. And, well, might as well get our exhaust loose off of here. And then we can get all this brass cleaned up, polished, and clean this up. It's got a nice finish on it, but we'll make sure that it's good and clean when we put the whole thing back together. I'll keep going, get these bands off. Okay, the top band is off. We'll slide this bottom band off and get it out of the way. And I did mark it. It's upside down. But top on the inside here, you won't be able to see it, but it's sure going to help when it comes time putting it back together. So let's see how this is. They did a great job on this cladding. This whole engine is built very nicely. But look at that, guys. It came off all as one. And each one of these are a separate piece. And they've all been, well, looks like it's super glue in between. But it's just as smooth as can be. So we might just take some triple-aught steel wool, clean this up, and then go ahead and just put another coat of varnish on it. No sense in digging into it and maybe, you know, causing an issue. So let's get our top half off of here, and yeah, we'll have this part of it done. I'll throw it in some solvent to degrease it, and we'll get it all cleaned up. And I don't know if we're going to paint the cylinder head and our lower cylinder cover. It's kind of up to you guys. Let me know. I'm good with one way or the other. I think you get too much paint, well, then it kind of starts looking cheap. But if you don't have, I pulled that stud out. But if we don't paint it, we're just going to have to make sure we keep it clean. And if we are going to run this on steam, well, we're probably going to want something that's going to cope with the heat, don't you think? So if we leave it naked and bare the way it is, we don't have to worry about it damaging the paint. So, you know, these studs back here are loose too. So, all right, well, let's get this off of here. I guess we'll call this a video. And I'm thinking that, well, we will be maybe getting into some longer videos again. I don't know, but I want to keep things coming out for you guys so you don't get bored. But I also don't want you to get bored sitting there watching, you know, one a week that is a lot longer than you'd ever want to stomach from me. So, all right. Well, there we go, guys. There's the sum of our parts. And it was kind of impressive to see these end gaps of these rings lined up with one another. They sealed very well, but, you know, if it has a passage for the steam to get behind it, if it can go through, well, your rings aren't sealing and seating properly. So, yeah, I think everything looks good, guys. I'm not sure which color I'm leaning towards. We've made plenty of green engines. I like green, but we've got a couple of them. And I'm kind of leaning towards the red idea, but I don't really want a fire engine red one. Maybe something, oh, more like the color of the back of our lantern here. Something a little bit darker, but not the same color as we painted that one that we built on the cart. Something a little bit brighter than that. So we might go with that, or we might go with something else altogether. But hey, thanks again for watching, guys. You guys are fantastic. I do enjoy reading your comments. I read them all. I try to reply or, you know, give you guys a thumbs up, you know, on the comments, but keep them coming. This is great, and you guys are fantastic. So, all right, I'll see you guys in a couple days. Thanks again for watching. We'll be back out here in a little bit. See you soon.